Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it's my birthday today. I just want to thank everybody who's already been sending me text messages and cards and emails, and I'm amazed anyone knows my birthday because I don't mention it very often on the channel or anything, but I guess I mentioned it enough that people mention it. And again, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I'm not on a cruise ship, but I'm still here and I'm still getting ready to cruise, and I'm even looking at more trips already. All week I've been looking at more trips. Wait to hear some more stories coming up. But in the meantime, we have some cruise news. We have some itinerary changes because of a hurricane status. We also have new taxes being introduced. We have a cruise port being closed. We just have a lot of news. So first off, let's talk about the hurricane that is causing some havoc and some itinerary changes. It is expected to hit land in the western side of Mexico, around Acapulco and between Acapulco, Cabo kind of area. Puerto Vallarta right in the path, but by the time it changes, you can see on this map that on Tuesday in the evening, it's going to have 105-mile-an-hour winds, and by early AM on Wednesday, it's expected to be down to about 50 miles per hour, which is still strong enough to cause an awful lot of damage, and people have to be, cautious. And one of those things that have to be cautious, cruise ships. In fact, one cruise ship is changing its itinerary quite a bit. The Carnival Miracle, which was just set sail on the 8th, was supposed to head down to Cabo San Lucas for an overnight and also head into Ensenada. Well, they're going to keep Ensenada as it's later in the week, but even though the hurricane is supposed to turn and miss Cabo, just because the eye of the storm is missing means hundreds of miles out from that can cause huge waves and huge rough seas all around the eye of the hurricane. So they have decided to change their itinerary completely, and they will be going to Catalina and San Diego. Okay. I understand, but it's not really Mexico Riviera, right? So yeah, it still should be fun. Hey, Catalina Island, I'd have some fun there, no problems. But yeah, a little disappointing if you had your heart set on going to Cabo, especially for an overnight. But the cruise ships are not going to sail into a hurricane if they don't have to, and if they're not caught off guard. And nowadays, they're not caught off guard. They are taking precautions well in advance of what's happening. So itinerary change, safe ship. You gotta admit it's good. A couple of cities now are also introducing a new tax, a tourist tax, if you will. Paris, France, and we also have Amsterdam. They are now introducing a new tourist tax. In fact, in Amsterdam, they are raising the tax up about 12% for cruise ships and about 8% for hotel guests. So if you're staying in the city overnight, if you're just passing through, there's no tax. If you're staying at a friend's house, there's no tax. But if you stay at a hotel, they're upping the tourism tax. And they say, both cities say the amount of money will be going to public transportation. All that money will be allocated to public transportation. I guess that's a good thing, but it's starting to become a trend. They're not the only places out there that have started charging more tourism tax for people trying to go on vacation, especially since the pandemic, because everybody wanted to get out of their house, right? Everybody just needed to get out. We haven't gone on vacation. We were stuck in our homes. We couldn't even go to work, a lot of people. And well, now we want to travel. And so they're taking advantage of that. They're taking advantage of the things that people want to do, and people want to get out and travel. But if it actually goes to improving city structures and improving transportation, and it just doesn't go into the mass coffers of political governments, it's a good thing. If they actually put the money towards what they say they're going to put it for, let's hope they do, because that'll be a benefit for both the tourists and the people who live in the cities we're talking about. Okay, another city has, well, Barcelona says, yeah, cruise ships are the be-all, end-all of pollution, I guess. And that means we don't want it in the downtown core, so our main port downtown, we're banning cruise ships from it from now on, because the pollution is choking the downtown core of our you know the riff, you know the spin. It's only the cruise ships that ever cause pollution in the downtown core of a city. I've been to Barcelona. It's not just the cruise ships, trust me. But let's go with they are moving all the cruise ships to the outer ports outside the city center, and they are banning them from the downtown immediate area, which means some cruise lines now have to rearrange some of their itineraries because they can't have too many ships in the other ports. They've now lost an entire port. Now, luckily, Barcelona does have some large ports, but if you're going to be sailing anytime from October to into 2024, 2025 out of Barcelona, like I am next year in February, you want to make sure that you know which port you're going to now, because it hasn't quite been decided who's going to one port, who's going to the other port. So you might not find out until weeks before your cruise where you actually have to go, which of course makes flying in and staying at a hotel just a little bit trickier. The best way to do it would be to stay at a hotel right near the airport, book that shuttle service from the cruise line, because you know they know where they're going and they'll get you there in the morning. You just walk over back to the airport and take the shuttle directly from them. And now let's talk about one cruise that's coming up next year that I was just researching, and it sounds amazing. It is one of those cruises that's a bucket list for sure. Now, if you've subscribed to this channel for any length of time, you know I loved my trip to Japan. I took one cruise to Japan, flew to China, spent some time in China, and then met Tony in China, and we took another cruise to Japan. And my big regret was I still didn't get to spend enough time in Japan. It was so amazing, so fun. The people were so great and just beautiful everywhere we went. It was great. I just wanted to spend more time. Well, how does this sound? Holland America next year, leaving in September, has, I believe it's on the Westerdam, a 53-day cruise from Seattle, Washington, back to Seattle, Washington, which means you do not have to fly across the ocean, which is a big savings, right? But you can take this cruise 53 days. It will start off in Seattle, head to Canada, head to Alaska, head to Hawaii, head finally up into Japan. And when it gets to Japan, it's not stopping at 2 or 3 cities like most cruises do. It's stopping at 13 different ports and cities. That's right, 13 different cities and ports in Japan. So if you really want to get a taste of Japan, this cruise would be an absolutely amazing cruise. Now, it comes at a cost. I priced it out for myself. If I was to take a balcony cabin for myself in Canadian dollars, it comes to a roughly $32,000. And if I want the all-included package, which would be drinks, Wi-Fi, gratuities, one night of specialty dining, one night, 53-day cruise, I got one night of specialty dining, it goes up to about $36,000. And that's not with insurance. So yeah, it's pricey. But remember, it's almost a 2-month cruise. So if you break that down by, say, 8 weeks, $30,000, it's not as expensive as it sounds if you can get away for that amount of time. And I'm looking at that now. I have a big group cruise coming up in December of that year. But man, it does let me, I get back in October and my group's in November. So I could do this cruise. I just don't know if I could get away for 53 days. I just don't know if I could do it. But if I was ever going to do it, this sounds like the cruise I would love to take. 13 stops in Japan. Throw in Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii to boot, and basically 2 North American flights instead of having to fly across the ocean. I almost say sign me up. I'm that close. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.